We'll try.
Don't give your editors a headache because, you know, like they all, imagine they have to read every single thing. They have to edit all those things. Not only the articles, not only the PRs, but also the photos.
Correct.
So,
And attend events as well.
and attend events, you know, and then they're gonna have to go home and write about it pa, and then, you know, like, so, yeah, I think that's a good practice.
I think so.
You know,
Discipline.
discipline, and your courtesy to other people who are waiting for your
Kasi basically, you can't move hanggat wala article kasi you have nothing to edit.
Yes,
So, wala yung article. How about sa TV though? Do you also have that bank? If pag may na-feature ka na, you've already shot and you've already edited it, but
I understand.
Actually, yes, we have. We have an advance shoot. You have to have at least 1 to 2 episodes
in advance. So usually, for example, you shoot a hotel or a business interview with someone. Usually, how long before siya na-feature?
A week.
A week, mabilis na. That goes for trip na trip and
Yes.
also, buwan.
But with my Umagang Kay Ganda, it's a daily thing as well.
Which one?
Sa Umagang Kay Ganda,
Okay.
it's a daily thing.
As a segment producer.
Yes.
Can you discuss a little bit what you do as a segment producer?
As a segment producer, you're the one who is in charge on the topic of a particular segment.
So usually 30 minutes ba?
Yes.
So, okay.
So, like for instance, mine is Andre Felix and Venus Ra.
Okay.
This is for Umagang
Umagang Kay Ganda. Our topic there is the what's new, what's exciting, what's the most adventurous activity of a particular place. So you really have to think of what are those
You
things.
have to do a lot of research.
Pero do you actually do you do some writing as well, or do you have a separate writers that write for you?
You have to write your own script
Okay.
for a particular segment.
Pero how is it different ba? I mean, konting segue on that. How is it different writing for newspaper and yung sa TV? Anong style lang pag sa TV?
Sa TV kasi,
Shorter,
somehow mas madali compare sa newspaper and magazine.
I think the language that you use isn't so strict, no? Parang
Yes.
you have to be able to relate to your audience
Kasi
the
meron kami-
easiest possible way.
Meron kaming madaling isulat dahil you have your visual already.
Correct.
Unlike sa newspaper and very limited.
Uh-huh.
So very limited, you really have to be very cautious about the terms that you're going to
At saka
use.
sa amin, ako, in my experience, especially I guess sa'yo, may time kami to edit. Kasi
Yes.
medyo in advance, alam namin kung ano. Pero how about pag sa daily thing na sa'yo na right there, then they have to say it na.
Yes.
I think this is most especially when it's live.
Live.
Correct. Paano yun? How does it go?
Ang mahirap pagka live. Because you cannot edit it anymore.
Okay.
Once aired, it's done.
Maybe like yung for a script, may script kang sinulat. But how, yung host mo mismo, hanggang paano sila pwede mag-deviate? Are they given free will o kailangan word per word?
We have a television rule na you can only make an ad-lib to a particular topic.
Okay.
You cannot go beyond than that because before I'm talking about the live. Because prior to your segment, you were given the script already.
Saka may briefing naman
Yes,
Yeah,
that
and-
you really have to memorize
Yeah,
everything.
and of course, when it's live, you're under time pressure.
Correct.
Because there's another one next, so you
Yes.
can't do overtime, right?
Yes.
World, using just one form of media is not the way to go. Yeah. So in Inquirer, how do you do it? Like like combining print, like websites, and social networking.
I am really happy with what we're doing sa Inquirer today because aside from the actual print, the one that you buy off the streets and newsstands, we actually have an Inquirer.net where we have actually a separate set of reporters we have videos there, audio, podcasts. At the same time, kaming mga writers and reporters and columnists sa print, our articles also appear on the website. So there's so many, very rich yung media and information that you actually get there. Aside from the Inquirer.net, which is the actual website, we actually have the Inquirer digital edition.
But it's a different thing, pa.
It's a very different thing because the digital edition is it's actually the version of the newspaper itself.
Do you have to purchase that one?
You have a trial. Well, we can download it sa may app kami for that for iOS and Android of course, and you can also access it some desktop and laptops. Then of course you have to purchase it, monthly subscription, yearly. But we have a 14-day trial where you can download the whole paper 14 times and then medyo sisingilin ka na doon. Ang target namin nun is, what's beautiful is, actually paborito sa advertisers. Because sometimes, when you advertise sa Diaryo and dinownload ulit yan somewhere in Syria, somewhere in somewhere else,
you have a wider reach.
Much wider reach that you actually didn't pay for it, if you think about it. Because when you place an ad in a newspaper, ang singil lang naman sa'yo dun is for the newspaper itself. But you get extra eyes when someone from the US or the Canada actually downloads it. So it actually widens our reach. At the same time, may I also mention yung Twitter account ng Inquirer, which is, I think, I do believe we have the highest number of followers when it comes to newspapers. I think we do have almost 300,000 followers, which is really, really great because, for one, we use it to direct our readers na parang we can alert them, hey, if you want to read something about this, purchase Inquirer right now. Or, ako na, I also have my own Twitter account, _Ken. Well, I can actually direct my own followers to, like, hey, my article about this comes out tomorrow. Don't forget to buy. Or, and ano na yan, tali-tali yan eh. Since we have a digital edition, they don't even have to go out and buy the newspaper because if we direct them with the link, ang bilis na.
Yes.
Do you think, would you happen to know if, like Inquirer reduced their number of print
Not at all.
newspapers because of the digital? So there's no like that.
Kasi
Is it competing or
not at all.
it helps each other?
It helps each other because
So it's a very important point.
super,
It does.
super. At least for now, as you know, napaka-bilis mag-change ng landscape. But for now, kasi ginawa yung digital edition and the Inquirer.net, not to cannibalize each other, but to actually reach more, especially yung mga nasa abroad. And especially na tao ngayon is always on the go.
And I think it's very good for balikbayans.
Exactly.
Like in OFWs, even though they're not here, they can actually still read about what's happening.
And it's fun. I mean, ako personally, I do prefer yung old school ako eh. I like reading the actual paper, smelling the paper, having coffee. But at the same time, it's kind of fun because it's in PDF file and it's a special, I cannot explain the technicalities itself, but it's actually fun, zooming in, saving actual digital files.
And I think when it comes to archiving,
Exactly.
it's good that you have a digital edition because, the newspaper, like the actual ones, it can deteriorate.
Pag nabasa.
Wala na. But then I guess for archiving and then, you can use it for research,
Exactly.
for reference material. So it's just there. You can access it wherever you are and whichever gadget for it.
And I do believe that Space is also launching their own
Yes.
website.
We're
Difference mo?
we're launching it at the end of the year. Well, basically,
Ano
the
URL?
main spacemagazine.ph. Yes. Basically, the magazine is still the main platform, but we wanted to accommodate, our online users as well. And then we have a lot of demand also with, like you mentioned, like for international readers. So that they can also browse through Space magazine, not browse through Space.
Yes.
Browse through Space magazine. Yeah. The only difference probably would be, the website is a little bit more real time, just like our Twitter and Facebook account, Space Magazine. Please follow us. So they can expect more design news and travel news there. Sometimes the things that don't make the cut in the magazine can be placed there.
Ang bangko natin.
Yes. And we attend a lot of industry events, so it's also a good way to promote that event or any product launch that they, any client has done. So it's also in the website, and just to create a wider audience. There are
loyalty,
there are people that are more computer savvy nowadays, but some, like you mentioned, are still traditional and like to read it. So at least we're able to cater to both markets.
What about you? I'm just curious kung how you have used social media, Twitter, Facebook, or whatever social media there is, Instagram of course, like how you use that as a jump off point to get ideas probably to write an article about, or para baka may nag-tip sa'yo na, hey, check this out, check that out.
Yes, we do get a lot of tweets and private messages in
cover
Facebook
me,
also.
cover this event.
Yeah, that they pitch stories to us, and then or sometimes they'd say, hey, we have a new product, can you please feature us, or there's this event that you need to go to, or there's this famous architect coming to Manila.
Right.
Can you interview him or her? So it's really been helpful. And at the same time, to promote the magazine, we've been using a lot of Facebook, to entice.
Correct.
To entice the
Engagement.
the Facebook audience to purchase the actual magazine, because I mean,
That's the end goal.
that's the end goal. I mean,
the end goal.
you want to keep reading magazines and newspapers. People have to keep on buying them also.
Correct.
Of course.
It's just a cycle. So, it's also an advantage to advertisers, like you mentioned a while ago. For example, you can do Facebook promos,
Right.
contests, raffles,
Give
and
out items.
and readers and the Facebook crowd, they love these contests and giveaways and all these things. So it's actually a very good marketing tool for the magazine.
How about for TV? How do you use yung social media to actually
You get a lot of feedback.
Yeah, well, of course. But any particular use on how you create interest or brand loyalty?
Napag-uusapan ng show. I think that's
Napag-usapan
it.
ng show. Yeah, yun lang yun.
Basically. Pero do you put it online, di ba?
Yes, of course. We have an online. We also have Twitter account. We have Facebook.
And I understand your hosts mismo,
They have
because
their
they
own person.
tweet
They have.
it and because they post about it, so you get a regular following,
Yes.
hence more viewers.
So are you comfortable with that change? Parang it's really changing. Actually, if I may mention, dun sa Inquirer before, we had there was a bit of a conversation about our reporters, the ones who actually cover the events. Meron silang agam-aga about their articles being used online. They would say that they believe they deserve a different pay
Second
for
payment
that,
for that.
because they said that they wrote for the newspaper and not for online. And then there's of course the breaking news. Ngayon, you have to break it as soon as possible.